Good evening for those of you in the Western Hemisphere, and good morning to those of you in Australia, Africa, and Europe. And good afternoon somewhere else that I might have forgotten. Tonight, we're going to start off with English. Of course, we have Ephraim. He is one of the hosts, Cyber Power of Tigray, and the founder of Cyber. And we have Ato Barakat, as usual. So tonight, for those of you who might just possibly get a little bit confused or ticked off, I am going to interrupt, and Ephraim is going to do the same thing, and Barakat is going to do the same thing. This is Cyber Power of Tigray Hard Talk. We're going to talk about, these are the soldiers that Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia has been sending them massively to commit genocide in Tigray. And many of them finally are recognizing and understanding that they should not have to die for one man in Addis Ababa and his partner in Eritrea, Asmara. So they've been massively turning themselves into the Tigrayan Defense Forces known as TDF, Tigrayan Defense Forces. We've talked about this before, so we're going to spend a good chunk of it in English. We're going to end our segment, and then we're going to come back in Tigrinya. For those of you, our Tigrinya speaking audience around the world, we're going to come back to you in Tigrinya. So, حوات عالم ملء زلكم احترب بي لازم لكم تايو نايدم معانتي زينانا إفريم ناي سايبر باور تجراي host بمحارنيا بتجرينيا زجورة حد جزون بإنجليزيا سايبر جمهور سياتل واشنطن كمون أتو بركة حونا أو سياتل واشنطن أنا ذل هو ميكي تجراي ويدما مايك كاسهون أو بورتلاند أوريغون مجمرتها بإنجليزيا أنا خنجورو علامنا نا إنجليزيا أم سودانا نا تجرينيا خن ملسينا سكاب شعوجن. We will continue in English. So, Ato Barakat, welcome.
Welcome, Mikey.
So we have a lot of topic. Welcome, Ephraim, of course.
All right. I would say, maybe good night for those people from East Coast. I hope they will have some time to listen to us,
Oh, Ephraim, you stand tall. You make us a dwarf. So
I'm thinking about the East Coast people at this time. Maybe I'm hoping that Fresgy or some of them will watch us. The rest of them maybe they are sleeping because Fresgy have some business.
Hey,
he might stay late.
We'll wake up when our voice is vibrating to their ears. So I'm hoping somebody will respond to that.
I'm just going to warning some people that Mike may be a little bit he's very hard talking.
That's right, aggressive.
He might insult me or insult Barakat, but we just need us to prepare for it.
What hopefully there will be some common ground when we are trying to seek the truth.
Right.
As I said, truth has many directions, but it remains one. For Abiy, he is a man of 1,000 holes with all his lies. So let's dissect him in many ways, trying to find which way to go forward.
My goodness, I cannot wait to talk about him, man. And not only him, but the whole cabinet, you know. They were like, around him, and they were holding their head, like, they know that TDF is coming,
Well, I mean, you heard some of the generals, they are just putting their tails among their, with their two legs, and they are fleeing in a mass. So the military is in disarray, try to save whatever left desire or hope they have. So I don't know. I mean, there is no military right now. It's just a military is not just trying to escape the horror of the war.
But you know what he's saying right now, Abiy Ahmed?
Wouldn't surprise me.
He's saying, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it, huh? Hands up.
Look at his eyes. Look at his gesture in his hands. He is a man who is really scared today. Look at it.
He looks.
I mean, look at it 2 days ago, 1 month ago, and look at now how he looks like. I mean,
No more military uniform.
Analysis, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the proud always he displays.
Man, he looks miserable.
Well, of course, life is getting tough. Hey, you know what? You guys, I'm sure you guys heard. So now he's saying there are fighters from outside Tigray joining TDF, and he included black people.
Black and
So apparently he's been watching enough cyber part of Tigray and he got confused. So he's referring to some of us here talking on cyber. So yes, we're proud. Abiy Ahmed, your days are numbered. So for those of you, on a serious note, so the prime minister of the former state of Ethiopia, who attacked Tigray on November 4th, 2020, in 3 days, it will be exactly 1 year since Tigray was attacked. But let me remind to the audience, and for those of you who might be refreshment to understand, that Tigray actually was under blockade for 2 years prior to the war against Tigray. So this crisis has been going on for 3 years. And when you hear from a few elite from Ethiopia saying Ethiopia was limited in scope, military law and order operation in Tigray, November of last year, the attack actually was on civilians in Tigray. So we all know that. So let us be reminded that the Tigray government, or the regional forces that number about 9,000 in Tigray, did not attack Ethiopia, did not want to go fight Ethiopia, because Tigray was and still is part of Ethiopia. Now, will it remain part of Ethiopia? That's a different question. But as we speak today, it is Ethiopia, the entire nation, minus the good people of Ethiopia, attacking civilians in Tigray, including Hagdef, Shabia, those who support Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. So just to clarify. So with that, they are desperate. You guys heard him talking how an outside force is inside Kombolcha fighting with TDF. I checked earlier and I saw that Secretary Blinken and President Joe Biden had their shurut right on them, and they're ready to just fight with us. So that's wonderful. So Ephraim, your take on that.
All right. Since you talk about Tigray people, I wanted to mention something about Tigray. Tigray people, we are a peace-loving, down to earth, and very respectful people. For each of, not only for each other, but for any other people, neighboring countries or any other as a culture. But as you know, Ethiopian government in collaboration with Eritrea, what they have done to Ethiopia, it's clear. The atrocity, the looting, the rape, everything happened within a short period of time in 8 months. So on November 4, that's what happens. And on June 28, we get rid of them. Clear everything from not all the Tigray, but at least the capital city of Mekelle and most of the Tigray. And after that, and before that, what he's done for Tigray people, he have done profiling and sweeping, and hundreds of thousands of ethnic Tigrayans. They throw them. He's been throwing them to the concentration camps. You know, in Addis Ababa, Awash Arba, and Nazareth, Benshangul, Gambela, a lot of people, and they are packed like what, sardines or what? They don't even have. They don't even respect them. The detained has been beaten up in many prison places, all Tigrayans. So the kidnapping, thousands of Tigrayans from western and northern Tigray, especially on eastern Tigray, like Maikadra, we've been talking about it a lot. So arresting, evicting, killing, freezing their bank accounts, you name it, cleansing Tigrayans from all over place, blocking World Food, AIDS, SAGE. All this happened to Tigray people. What we are trying to do is now trying to clear the SAGE, trying to control our self-determination. There is no way that the Tigray, the Amhara people, or any other people are our enemy. He's been saying different yesterday. Oh, Kombolcha, TDF are killing like he did in 1992. We never done that. Of course, there are law and order always. I will never say that there is no killing on the street if the people are, or some people are doing without the law. You know, you have to stabilize the political situation to discuss the political situation around the table. If they have done like, protest without, there are some that you may have law and order all the time, but yesterday was totally different. Today was totally different. Abiy Ahmed was lying. He still keep lying and lying and lying. So it's just, he's miserable. I will talk about more what he looks like and about the whole cabinet and everything. But this is just as a reminder from the past and what's going on right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ephraim. So Atabarakat, we've been at this discussion. So I'm going to shift away from what Ephraim described because I want us to avoid from repeating ourselves. I'm going to jump in right into the joint TDF and on the left, or the Tigrayan Defense Forces and the Oromo Liberation Army.
Yeah, let me I will answer your question, but I want to stress for the fact that who helped him, Abiy Ahmed, to be in this position where we are. Of course, we have to mention those diaspora propaganda mission like ISAT, Zahabesha, Mereja, 360, Land After, and many more. The few self-appointed noisy Ethiopian diaspora who are bent on violence and terrorism are responsible for the thousands of lives lost. They deserve nothing but less than unconditional condemnation for their continued attempt to wreak and havoc and create hostility in Ethiopia. It is difficult to verify any information regarding attacks, but since they have the media, always they try to portray this happen by TDF sources, as you have heard in DC and other areas. Really, their propaganda mission had dog works to suppress the truth from the beginning. And they are waging all ill-fated assault on Tigrayans with their bogus and pathological lies like what's going on in Addis Ababa, ethnic cleansing, as we speak right now. So it's really what we have to do here is defeats always normally deploy themselves to distracting ploy by generating desperate actors, as you have seen in Addis by the mayor and other areas, arresting innocent Tigrayans, and the vast spectrum of lies and deception that has been deliberately infused to the public by those ostracized individuals who are deeply resentful and have become father of lies. They lie, as we watched the video that he had given a speech in the parliament. It's just not any individual who is coherent could speak that kind of lies. So,
yeah, I know. Let's make it harder. Can you show us his picture, and then we can just see what how Burhanu Naga looks like? And they're always, all of them like holding their face. I don't know if Mike have like their picture and stuff. You can just show him Barakat, and he can describe them.
It's perhaps to say, nevertheless, that true that the hate mongers helped to create the condition in which the current war to be ignited. As I remember, there was a French philosopher by the name of Alain Badiou. As he put it, truth is indifferent, too different, and in its essence universal in nature. It is not impressed by ethnicity, nationality, or race. Truth is truth, the same all times. But for those individuals, truth is to spread lies and unfounded allegation and create havoc and destruction. The last 27 years, they called it dark days. When Ethiopia was registering 2 digits economic growth, respected in world stage, now the country is in shambles. Never in its entire history as existence has been in this kind of bad shape, even during the reign of terror, Mengistu times. So the country is collapsed. Economists cannot predict its future in terms of its economic strength. Coming back, Mike, to your question, the State Department had issued a statement that Tigray Defense Forces should withdraw from Amhara and Afar regions. I thought that's a very laughable and unacceptable gesture by any standard that we Tigrayans here should resist such kind of statement. The Secretary of State, he knows very well what happened, and he was a supporter, condemnation, the ethnicity, the ethnic cleansing and genocide in Tigray. How dare, when the Western Tigray is under occupation of by Amhara and Eritreans, Amhara Fano, and still the blockage is on all fronts. How could we? So there is no negotiation with this fascist regime unless it is toppled with his entourage once and for all. He was asked many times to open the corridor and to sit for peaceful negotiation. He refused. Now he wants to sit. As we have heard by his secretary, Belen, that the door is open for negotiation. He has nothing left. For what? To do what? To negotiate. He's over, kaput. So the only way is to surrender himself with his whole entourage and face justice. That's it. There is no room for negotiation at this stage. As you heard, still he's lying. He's trying to create another genocide in other areas.
Actually, I'm going to slightly disagree with you there. I think there is a room for negotiation. And here is how I put it together.
All here.
He's always have a reason to disagree. All right.
We, the Tigrayans and Tigrayan Americans, would like to see negotiation. And this is how we'd like to see the negotiation to go down. We would like Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia, Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea, along with their cabinets, with their generals, to surrender, to turn themselves in if they want to live another year or two while they're trying in a rule of law in Mekelle City, the capital of Tigray.
Hey, Mike, you know.
Let me say something about let me say something here. Hold on. Okay. We can always negotiate with someone who can trust with, right? What do you trust from Abiy Ahmed? Do you have? Tell me something that you can agree with Abiy Ahmed. He can say something this morning, and he will be completely different this afternoon, and then he will be completely different idea. He will come with a different idea at the same day, but in the evening. When you say dialogue, peaceful dialogue, you can do peaceful dialogue for those who can. First of all, those are criminalists. They made crime in Tigray, not only in Tigray but also in most of the Ethiopia regions. So there is no those people. They need to go to International Criminal Court, ICC.
But here is Efraim. I'm going to interrupt you here. Yeah,
okay.
Here. And that's a good point. However, dictators are not smart as you like to portray them. If they are smart, they wouldn't wage a war that they should be able to carry. So they, they have the tendency from history, judging history as a case. They always, try to push to the last battle. Some of them, they flee, like Mengistu. And this is not going to be exception. Believe me, Mike. He is going to flee. Yeah, he is going to flee.
Hold on that. I will say something on.
Because everyone wants to say something on this one, so I have to bring this up.
Look at him. Look how Brahanu Naga looks like. He looks very frustrated, very scared.
He is always a demented face, like a baboon face. Look at him.
I think to Ephraim's point, he's so afraid because you guys know that he gave his American citizenship. He now has Eritrean citizenship.
Yeah, he had an Eritrean passport. It is not a joke. He had Eritrean passport. This is confirmed with unrefutable resources. Actually, at one time last year, it was posted on Facebook. So it is not.
I saw it.
Yeah, he was not a U.S. citizen to begin with.
Are you guys sure?
I don't know about his citizenship, but I saw the Eritrean passport with his picture and name. It was going around on the social media. But please show us the whole picture in that cabinet when Abiy was talking yesterday. Most of them are like holding their head. They look very frustrated and scared. And they know that already Abiy Ahmed is lying because he said to TPLF, to Tigray Defense Force, they were killing their own soldiers behind. How could you say that? Tell me if Tigray Defense Force is never ever in history that will kill their own soldiers. Actually, maybe he didn't have no time to watch the post of the Ethiopian military. They were witnessing that the Ethiopian military is the one who never buried their bodies, and they never pick up their injured soldiers, and they even killed their own soldiers from behind by Fano and militia.
After
But he's just
after
completely.
Mike eluded me to see the video, I was able to get a glimpse of it. And one of them, he talks about the conduct of military engagement, and I thought that was laughable. And he was talking about how the Ethiopian Defense Forces were carrying their engagement to civilians. We know that they were raping, they were killing, they were burning,
Right.
looting,
Yeah.
and what they have done in Tigray. But despite that fact on the ground, he tried to portray them as they are very honest, caring to the public, which is really false, absolutely
And
false.
he did say the key right now to defeat TDF is to have a false propaganda. And when you get the truth from the ground, make sure you question who's sending that text message to spread the fact on the ground. I mean, that's like the message from Deste and Kambolcha because he doesn't believe it. In the meantime, this is what he's doing inside Tigray. As you all know, recently we saw this. This is in Mekelle, bombing civilians in Mekelle. This is Mesfin engineering. He alleged that it was somehow manufacturing weapons. The problem he has there is weapons are directly taken or delivered by his own army. The so-called Biltzigana party or the military that's supposed to serve Ethiopia is acting somehow Tigray is a country, is coming with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old children. And these young kids have never been properly trained, let alone to fight. They're like saying, hey, I just want to go see my mom. I just want to go see my dad. And when they say that, aren't these children in Tigray needed to live the same way that these young kids are saying, hey, I want to go home? Don't they have these kids? Shouldn't they have homes as well?
Right.
Well, I mean, as we said, lies go faster than truth. We talk about this issue about the child soldier by innocent New York journalist has taken a picture when the Tigray Defense Forces were resting in one area. And as you know, it is a cultural thing. When you are dancing and playing and resting, kids will hold your guns for a while. And this innocent journalist taken that picture. And then in New York Times, it became unopened for the lies of the likes of Assad, Habesha, Maraja, and all those things they try to suppress by the truth. But now we have thousands and thousands prisoners of war who are giving testimony. Some of them are 15, 16, 17, underage to refute that fact. So one of those things, even, like Karen Bass, I had to mention that. She, on her resolution 445, she is just using the word that the Tigray Defense Forces are using child soldier, which is not true at all. And also showing the bombing for almost a week in Tigray, even some of our own people who stood one time with us just to sell for benefit, for money, they are trying to suppress the truth. And this has to be told as well. I mean, we are talking what is happening in Tigray, factual, that is supported by video and testimony, and by other international journalists as well. But our own people are lying. This is only targeting military. One of the girls from what I had to mention her name, she works in one of the news media outlet that she's just denying purposely in order to get a fame and money for her own at the expense of people who are on genocide and ethnic cleansing. And this is the saddest part, that all Tigrayans, we should condemn it I don't care who perpetuates it.
Agree.
Right.
Well, here is
I don't know.
we are doomed.
I don't know this person. He just
Oh my goodness. I was like, sometimes I was thinking like, sometimes when I go to the movie with my kids, like, to watch like a very terrifying or terror movie, I was like, oh my goodness, what is he was when he was listening to Abiy Ahmed or watching him and I don't know what he was thinking, but he was very terrifying. What is that? What is the message? It's clear. It was clear. First of all, Abiy was not prepared enough to discuss or to say about the whole situation. I don't think he find a well-prepared person to give him a written script, as always, to read it in front of his cabinet. He was just speaking from his own mind, but he was always
Ephraim, he is a priest.
he was wobbling all over. He was thinking about, I don't know.
That's what they do, preachers. They wobble, and he will never be. Lack of words, believe me.
And he said, to be the enemy, you have to look. What did he say? It's like, oh my goodness. And the description of that was like totally different than what he meant it to say. Like, oh, this is really Abiy Ahmed, I said, because he's always deceiving people because he always came prepared and with a written script. But yesterday,
You think
like,
Have you guys heard the new Uber in Cambodia they tried the last few days?
Oh,
No.
no. But he even said that there are some white people and Black African Americans are dying in Cambodia, and the fight was not done. I think he's still delusional. He believes false. I don't know if we cannot find any kind of European people or American people or foreign people to fight with us. He's the one. He's getting a lot of drones. Multiple support.
He's referring to you and I, the three of us here, like Black American, Black people. He's referring to us.
Oh, that's where.
I like he's delusional, and sometimes he deliberately infused lies to confuse the innocent people.
This is the new Uber, like in Cambodia.
Oh,
Okay.
So they try to get away on a donkey back, but the donkey is like, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I mean, he's a donkey now.
So I want to go back to what Ephraim said on a serious note. So he talked about drones. He talked about the weapons so we know that in just looking at TDF and looking at the war that's fought in Tigray, you can buy weapons, but there's one thing you cannot buy. You can't buy heart.
Right.
The desire to stand for your people, the desire to stand and fight for yourself, self-determination. So the United States, despite saying they're concerned about TDF's advance, you guys both know that they just impose Iranian assets related to drones. And I think some of those countries, including the United Arab Emirates, once Tigray genocide is officially classified as genocide, those countries like Turkey, Iran, United Arab Emirates, won't they be held accountable for the genocide atrocity, however we want to call it, in Tigray, and the infrastructure that was destroyed in Tigray, and the international community to rebuild Tigray under the genocide international law?
Of course. I mean, first camp is to whip out those invading forces to their grave. The second is those people who have hand and saturated in blood innocent lives in Tigray, they will be held responsible. We'll tax them wherever we take. They will pay compensation for the victims and also for the loss of the economy of the country for the entire. We have time. Time is our essence, but first come first is to wipe out all those invading forces to their last ditch grave. And also people talk, why the Tigray Defense Forces such kind of discipline and energy? Well, the conviction and commitment of the Tigray Defense Force seems to come from the genocide and brutality that dehumanize its own people. The fighters, including primary youth, senior seasoned fighters, freedom fighters, from defense officers, professors, from all lives. This is a determined force that will not stop short of total victory, which must include lasting extensional guarantee of Tigray. Never this will happen again, and I can assure you.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Actually, I mean, there is no way you can buy commitment. Commitment is internally created by cause. We have a cause. The perpetrator came to our region, and what they have done is clear, obvious. Not only those people, but starting from the Italian. We were at home and we were invaded by those Amhara militia, Eritrea, and Ethiopian troops. They didn't come to find the criminals. We never deny that we have individual criminals in Tigray. Never. Even the Tigray government said that let's do the law and order equally to all Ethiopians when they were in power as EPRDF. When we give General Kimfe, they never take anyone to the court. But they start humiliated us by taking General Kimfe. Above all, they came, they invade, and then they have done multiple atrocities. So that comes, as you recall, the Tigray people are like, ready for the reform, including myself. But it was not a true reform. It was just a revenge that he was keeping in mind, and then his followers. So our Tigray people, the young, the youth, came up with bitterness, commitment, and we fought them back. Not only in Tigray, but also all the way down to Addis, we are going strongly because we are always thinking that what they have done to us. They murder youngs at the middle of the streets. They murder young, innocent Tigrayans around the cliff, around the churches. This is how we have a cause. And we don't want to do something like such kind of atrocity like them, because we don't want to do that to happen to us. We don't want to happen that to Amhara people, or as a people, we respect Amhara people. We never say Amhara people is bad. We never say Oromo people is bad. But there are some leaders who came from Amhara elites, and Oromo elites are so bad, and they are misguided the people behind them. And as we see, there is multiple witnesses that we saw from the post of the Ethiopian government. They are witnessing the truth. They told them they're going to take a lot of cars from Mekelle. They're going to take a lot of money from Mekelle. They're going to kill the innocent people in Mekelle. And it's all the thing is done. It's junta. This is just, so we have a cause, and that's why we are winning. Our soldiers are well known. They are disciplined and everything. So that's
I just want to stress that Mike and Ephraim, This is really a determined force, as I said, that will not stop short total victory until this regime goes to the ditch. We live, and I believe, after I heard today from State Department that the United States is best served by closing ranks behind TDF to conclude the war without delay. And also, despite all the lies in Amhara and in Amhara and Afar, there is a presence of Tigray Defense Forces. They have stabilized all the towns, including the most recent occupation of Desi and the Kombucha. The people are welcoming those victorious fighters with celebration and elilta. I mean, you heard that, and water, food, and encourage them to continue and overthrow the Abiy Ahmed supremacist or fascist regime. I mean, we have seen it from the Amhara and Amhara area, peasants and farmers helping them, assist them, and helping them to administrate their own areas, which they have never had before. So I want to stress to the fact that despite all the lies from government sources like this person who speaks on his two mouths, at times he denies, and at times he's tried to elude facts that many of the international organization knows well.
Right.
Mike, you are on mute.
I think you are muted.
Sorry about that, guys.
No.
Okay, so you guys both said it very well. You made a lot of points. Before I play this video or this news from ETV, English Broadcasting, so they now are saying the Tigrayan media around the globe, including Cyber Power of Tigray Media, broadcasting in English, which we've been pushing from day one. Okay, now they're trying to duplicate our work. They are also saying Kombolcha genocide or massacre. They, it's really funny to me, but it's not funny to laugh. But let me say this. Okay. We, the Tigrayans, are determined people to fight and stand for Tigray. But nevertheless, we will not go attack civilians anywhere in Ethiopia or Eritrea. That is fact. Now, I think, Ephraim, you were mentioning about arresting General Kinfe and putting him in jail and not giving him trial. I think where I differ myself from this one is that actually was a failure of our own leadership. Because when General Kinfe was arrested, he was arrested in Tigray and it handed over to the so-called federal government while Tigray was cut off from Addis Ababa at that time. Transportation was blocked completely from Addis Ababa to Mekelle. Foreign investors and foreign diplomats were not allowed to fly to Mekelle. And our leadership in Mekelle, while they were doing an amazing work after they left Addis Ababa to rebuild Tigray, they were still in hope to work together, like to your point, Ephraim, to do law and order. But the way we were handling law and order in Tigray, I never liked it. That's just my personal feeling.
Exactly. But what they had a daily discussion, as you remember. They had, because most of the people, they were asking, like, people who are in power, they need to go to jail because they have made a lot of corruption, a lot of this and this and this. And then Abiy Ahmed was like, demanding a criminals from Tigray to stabilize the road closing on around Wallo and Gondar. And he asked at least General Kinfe to go to court. So he was, of course, like, Dr. Debrecen was trying to hard everything. He explained almost everything. He said,
but
okay, we'll give you.
Though. That's what I'm saying, though.
I know. He said it's wrong. He said it's wrong, but
it is wrong because you know what? because
Let's-
Abiy Ahmed was a criminal at that time. Abiy Ahmed was the one selling national intelligence with Eritrea because he was meeting with Isaias Afewerki, and the Tigray leadership knew. The Ethiopian security services knew.
But they were trying. They were trying at the end stage. They were trying everything to make a peaceful dialogue instead of like going to war.
Let
So
me interrupt.
by giving General Kimfe, they think the problem is going to.
Let me interrupt you here, boss.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is really a very unfortunate circumstance.
Okay.
What happened to General Kimfe, that we agree, all of us. But you know, I hear so many mistakes. What if? What if this happened? What if this happened? Questions are in many of our minds.
Right.
I think what happened is happened. There are so many things that we can prevent that it should not happen anymore. We are at war with this fascist regime. I think it will be much beneficiary to learn from past mistakes and avoid the future ones.
Absolutely.
And you know, I am sympathize with the General Kimfe family. I sympathize what he had gone through. All Tigrayans should, because he was such a smart person who has done so much for his country, not for Tigray, for the country Ethiopia.
The
Building,
former state of Ethiopia.
building such a big enterprise. He was defamed. He was treated like a criminal before the court in process. So I think suffice to say, what we should do next, not to have such unpleasant circumstance. That's the only
We're
thing.
done. We're in a clear divorce victory right now. We're done.
So it is just try to cry for spill water or spill beans is not going to help us right now.
Let me ask you something for both of you.
Before you go to the next question, let me play this real quick.
Okay.
TDF terrorist group has massacred over 100 youth Sunday night in Kombolcha town. Ethiopians are urged to stand in harmony and fight against the terrorist group.
Who is the terrorist group?
They are.
Who is terrorizing Ethiopia?
And the Nigeria Economic Summit held in Abuja underscored partnership between private and John, do stay with us. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed announced that non-Ethiopian forces have joined the terrorist TPLF group in the Wollo Front battle in the Amhara region. The Prime Minister briefed senior government officials on current affairs being held in Ethiopia. The Prime Minister also confirmed that non-Ethiopians, foreigners, and other blacks joined and made sacrifices with the terrorist group.
Other blacks, foreigners, other blacks. That's you guys.
Well, I mean, we have
Okay. Okay, tell me something. Who is terrorizing Ethiopia?
Let's go Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia and Isaias Afewerki of Eritrea.
Right.
the Amhara Fund militia as well.
Well,
Right.
they're the
So let's-
genocider. But it's on the order of Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afewerki.
Okay, let's falsify this accusation. And the next question is, who is letting Ethiopia to invade by other countries or by other individual citizens?
Do we have to raise our hands?
Yeah, go ahead. You first. You clever boy. You're the clever. Seriously, let's talk about all the invaders.
I'm going to let Dr. Berkat answer that.
What? How in the world is? I mean, Eritrean country. It's a country, right?
You are just asking me to respond to a pathological liar.
Exactly. We just need us to answer each
Really,
accusation.
I mean, this guy is known to be a father of all lies. He is now
Right.
put as the second person in the world who lies the most.
That's
Uh,
actually the best answer I ever had. The pathological liar. He's not like, it's not like, the pathological liar, the word by itself makes it clear for Abiy Ahmed. Pathological liar is something that born with you. I
so
think he was born
his
with it.
his personality is as fake as his degree. This is what I can say to you.
Exactly.
Am I right, Mike? This guy, his name is Abiyat Kasai. He doesn't even like his name. He is just behind a certain name, trying to fit in the Oromo area, adapted his brand name. He had to
Okay.
brand himself. His name is Abiyat Kasai. This is real. It's not fake. He's not an
Okay.
Oromo.
Barakat, is there any way we can do we have any access that connects Tigray with other countries to have a foreign individualist or a group of people to come to help us fight Abiy Ahmed?
Maybe from heaven.
From heaven. How about Mickey? I mean, as you know, the whole 360 degree is like, rounded up.
Yes. Well, listen. I don't know if you guys been like
What's the access?
on Twitter, but if you guys have not caught it, there are two people who stood with us from day one and are wearing like our shirut. That's President Joe Biden and Secretary Blinken. And currently, they are in Kombolcha fighting with us side by side.
Maybe. But
Well,
anyways, for those who are watching us right now, I'm just trying to confirm that first of all, there is no access. Tigray has no access to connect with other world. It's been blocked in around the whole area, 360 degree. We have a militia Amhara in Humora. We cannot go to Sudan, and Eritrea is our enemy. We cannot go through the Red Sea. And Wallo and Gondar and everything is like, we are still fighting to have an access. So there is no way.
well,
This opposition.
there is a way, because many of the angels escaped from the church and mosque, so they are helping us against terrorism. So
That's an option.
the church.
Exactly. That's another option. That's another option.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
this.
So we falsify that. We falsify that. We falsify the first one. What's the third that he said? Can you play the video, Mike, and then we can see? We have to falsify each individual word that he said this morning.
Yeah, don't forget, he is surrounded by doctors and what do you call those? Like Daniel Kubra. He's trying to. Mike, it is echoing. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody's phone is open. Do you hear an echo?
I think from Mike, maybe. Yeah.
I see you, Barakat, because I'm on mute when you're talking.
Okay.
And then the third word, what he said is, I guess, TPLF has been killing their own soldiers from behind. Can you say something about it?
Well, I mean, that's a spy. I mean, what you have to see is those currently prisoners of war, they are testifying, they are being killed by the FANUS when they are trying to retreat. And this happened in many, many occasions. Actually, some of them who are trying to flee from the war front were hunted by the FANO, vicious militias, and taken their weapons and killed, especially the Oromos. And this is a testimony on Tigray defense, on Tigray Media House and Asanna to reaffirm the facts that many of us have seen. as young as 15, 16, giving witness the horror of the war when they're trying to flee. And also, one of the colonels was captured, and you heard him that there was an order by the military high ranking that anyone who is trying to escape the war has to be killed. And he was stating for the fact how many of them will be killed because everybody is fleeing the war. Some of them, they never heard of a sound of a gun. I mean, when they hear the artillery, the heavy weapons, they just flee. They are kids. And how many of us are we going to kill? Just in one of the interviews in Asana, the colonel, I forgot his name, and he was related to one of the activists here. What is that? Degu or his uncle or nephew. So, I mean, this guy is twisting the facts. What is happening in their camp is trying to portray this is happening in Tigray Defense Forces, which is totally
great. Thank you, Barakat.
I don't want to even go into it because it is lying. It is lying.
Okay.
And also, you know, like Assad and 360, Maraja, and all those, you know, mouthpieces of a propaganda mission for his regime, they are echoing the same statement, knowing the fact. They are seeing those prisoners of war testifying. But for them, it is always suppressing the truth, what matters for them.
Thank you. Mike, how about Mike? Abiy said this morning also, we left hundreds of liters gas, oil in Mekelle because we are we have the code of conduct and the discipline. We know that the people of Tigray can use this. Okay. And but he said also that the PLF is killing and burning and looting in Kombolcha and Desi. How do you falsify this? Does Abiy has a time to think about taking his gas, or like, you know, first of all, he burned everything that we had in Tigray. Not only when he was in Tigray, but also when he's in Addis now, he's burning multiple factories in Tigray and killing innocent people in Tigray. When he says something like this morning, how do you describe this guy?
Well, I describe him as like a pathological liar and evil man who, like what Mr. Burka said earlier, that speaks with both end of his holes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't keep his own gas, so he speaks one end and the other end. And obviously, what he has done in Tigray is order genocide. The youngest victim is 4. Victim of rape. Okay? And it was in a script by Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. They looted Tigray. But I don't, you know, he doesn't, anything he say, it doesn't surprise me. It actually surprises me for the Amhara elite, for those in the cabinet, for those who are in the military, leading the military that is being decimated and dismantled, that they continue to let this one coward to continue to commit the genocide that's taking place in Tigray. Now, what I want to point out is for the civilians, for those, the Amhara throughout the world, wake up. Don't listen to me. Listen to your brothers and sisters on the ground. It is the very person, Abiy Ahmed, you claim to be your government, that is ordering bombs in villages and towns throughout the Amhara region. And the victim and the receiving end of those bombing actually are your very own people. So if there is genocide, massacre in Kombolcha and Desi, TDF was avoiding firing back at the enemy to avoid casualty in Desi. They actually could have taken Dese. They could have destroyed Dese very long ago. But you know what? We have moral values. Even when our own people, Tagaro, are so frustrated sometimes how disciplined the Tigray leadership is, the military in Tigray is. This clip actually was recorded by an Amhara person in Dese talking how disciplined TDF was rolling into the city of Dese. I'm going to play it, and you guys, we're going to translate it because he speaks in Amharic. I'm going to try to maximize my audio in here, but if you guys can't hear it, let me know. This is TDF intern Dese a couple days ago. He says this is how they look like when they just entered Dese. Ephraim is going to correct my Amharic.
No worries. You're getting better.
Thank you. He said these are like, born and raised from the very like fine people. So that was Saturday morning. Taking over Dese. He said he's so just like excited to see them and how professional they are. I mean, literally, this guy with another woman on the background, they're like recording it through their window because they've been told that TDF is going to kill you. TDF is going to like massacre you. And the fact is different.
I know.
He's talking about they even have a bicycle because they told them they had nothing.
እንደ ኳስ ጨዋታ በጣም ቀላል የሆነ ነገር ነው የሚመስለኝ
So that's the best part.
Did you know what he said? Did you hear?
Yeah, he's saying they making the fight look like it's just like a soccer game. It's nothing for them.
Right.
Did I translate it right?
Right. That's good. That's good. Oh my goodness. You got A+ on this. On that.
Hey, thank you. Hey, look at that.
You
I'm
are
catching on to
clever,
my
boy.
Amharic.
You are a clever boy.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, overall, Abiy is a pathological liar. You guys both stated that, and I really do appreciate that. I will never call him Abiy no more. I will have, instead of Dr. Abiy, a pathological liar of Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of, I mean, he was appointed, and he never been elected anyways. Tigray never elected to be. Most of the Amhara region did not elect. They said yesterday, I heard them talking, oh, we got the card to elect, but they never done it. And then they've been insulting actually because of a lot of issues. So anyways, what's our next option?
We're warming up, so we're going to do a close it here. And then we're going to move forward to Tigrinya. So I'm going to give Barakat a minute.
Let me respond to one of your comments. He said, Penga said that you are not speaking Amharic. But my answer is, Mickey picked cherry when it comes to Amharic. He wants to hear what he wants to hear.
Right, he's a selective listener. He's a selective listener, of course.
So anyway, I mean, the message is clear that they lost the war and they are on losing ground. But propaganda machine that they want to continue is going to challenge us. It's going to continue.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Bro.
Cover the lies, and we have a lot of responsibility to expose their lies.
All right. Well, so we are going to end the English program. Give us 5 minutes or so. We're going to come right back to you, and it's going to be in Tigray now. So أنا منزل لكم تخاطرتنا بإنجليزي قام ناوزين نشرش لنا أو 5 دقيقة جزي هاونا مو تمليسنا خم بحدش كن كفتينا بتجرينا خابرين بجيرنا خن مايتنا كم جركم تخاطركمنا سايبر باور تجري ميديا رما شير ناقوركم سبسكرايب ناقوركم نخن عبي حجزنا كمون كومنت تقولت لهم بوست نقوله فيدباك هاونا بس مو بسنا سرعتنا قبلنا خن مايته لخن الرادة له يعني لنا ياو كبرات حوات إبراهيم أتبركات thank you.
نالوات أنا كا دك هدك سيز خد زي ما هاي تحزليه